All right, so the first collision we're going to program is actually over here on laser. And it's my repeat until. So I've already got this repeating until this clone goes away. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to use an OR block. And what I'm going to add in there is under sensing, touching the robot. Make sure you start that out right. I know I've done it a couple times where I accidentally click rocket ship and all of a sudden my laser stops working. So what this should do is anytime the laser hits the robots, you can see that the laser itself is disappearing, which is exactly what I want. So that definitely gives me, that's my first collision, is now the laser goes away when the laser hits the rocket. Okay. Now, the next ones I'm going to program, a lot of these I'm going to program on the robot itself. So the nice part about this is you can use the same hat of when I start as a clone as many times as you need. It's like the green flag one, where you can have several events happening as certain things start. So when it starts as a clone, forever, if then, and I'm going to actually need 2 of these so I can build the skeleton and then duplicate them. And both of them are touching sensing activities. So if touching the rocket ship, I'm going to want something to happen. And if touching the laser, I want something to happen. Okay. So, and I know it's kind of funny because the laser, we already programmed a collision. Well, that collision affected the laser. This collision, I need to affect the robot that it hits. Okay. So if touching the laser, I do want it to delete this clone. And there's something else that I want to have happen in the middle here, and that is I want to add a score. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and make a variable. We're going to call it score. I am going to type it correctly and capitalize and everything because it is going to show. And I'm probably just going to go ahead and leave this up here. I might shorten it some, but you can kind of mess with what you want. So first thing I do need to do is when this is clicked, I need to set, when the green flag is clicked, we need to set our score to 0. And I am also then going to change the score by 1 when this collision happens. Okay, so at this point now, as my robots start, they collide, my score goes up, and the robots go away. So that part works perfectly. Now I'm going to code the other side, okay, which is if the robot touches the rocket ship, and this is where the Space Invaders game worked, in that if the invaders got to you, that's when you lost. So one of the things that we'll want to do if that happens is we will also want to delete this clone, but we're also going to broadcast a message. And we are going to broadcast the message game over. Anytime I've been creating messages, variables, that sort of stuff, I've started removing spaces from the names. I seem to just have much better luck. So one of the things you can do when you're squishing 2 words together is instead of putting the space there, capitalize both the words. It's really easy to still read it as 2 separate words. Spaces just seem to have problems in code when they're used in certain instances. So it's going to broadcast game over, which again currently does nothing, which is fine. But there you go. That now should broadcast game over, which if we want to set that when I receive game over, hide, we can go ahead and set that because we actually, for now, only need to set it in 3 places. When I receive game over, hide, And when I receive game over, hide. So that way we can at least tell that we've gotten the game over part of it. You could definitely add things. You could add a background switch. You could add just a sprite that has text that comes up and says game over. Um, that is up to you as to how you actually want to handle that. We at least should have everything hiding right now. So when I click the green flag, I start. I can blast robots. My score goes up. And if I miss some, um, we'll just let these get all the way down here. And when they contact me, everything disappears. This is where you would get your game over screen. So this is the basics of coding your Space Invaders game. You should get to this point and make sure everything works before going on any further and starting to add levels or anything else.